Morning, everybody. Today is January 7th, and I'm about to go run the first call of my morning. This is a newer system that was installed in a house. We usually don't do house calls because we're only commercial, but we only do a couple houses because those clients that we have own most of the properties that we do. So this house in particular has a newer system that was just installed. Supposedly it's not cooling, so we're gonna go figure out why it's not cooling. So pretty sure it's something simple, capacitor or float switch or something. Alright, so I just went inside. I went to go look for the air handler. I found it. So now I'm out here. I already checked the float switch on the air handler, but I want to come up here and check the condenser. So I'm gonna grab my tools. Let's see where the issue is. Hopefully it's something outside. I have a feeling it's outside. Grab my tools real quick. I'm gonna reorganize these real quick. Something nice to consider getting is a little mat for your knees. Alright, here's the system. Let's see. First thing I like to do is just visually look at it. To me, it looks like there's oil here. So this makes me want to try and check the pressure. There's oil on this as well. You can see the coloration right here. Let's see here. And I've seen a lot of other techs on other channels use a whole gauge manifold. I don't. I just use digital stubbies. These are the spoilings. These as a set, it came with 2 of these and then 2 clamps. The cost of these right here was about $450. Shoot, I've had these for years. I like them better than the field piece, just because field pieces are too bulky and these are a lot smaller. But these are a great investment, and I don't like using a manifold set because you take a lot of refrigerant with you whenever you're hooking it up. We're talking like ounces. Right here, you're only talking point of an ounce, you know? You're not taking so much away from the system. And then in my app, connects fairly quickly. And let's see what we got. 34. This is a 410A system, I'm assuming. 134 should be around 200 if it's equalized. And look at all this oil. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of oil. Oh, look at that. There's a kink there. Okay, I got some bubbles. What I'm gonna do now is just spray. Wait, let me see. Spray around this area. Oh, here's something right here. Oh yeah, there's a hole right here underneath. Dang, this is perfect. It's gonna be a good little video here. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to solder this up, and I think with the amount of pressure that's left in the system, I think we can just do a pump down on it and just throw everything in the condenser, and we'll we'll close these down. That way no refrigerant gets out. I for real need to get me a GoPro. I need tired of holding my phone all the time. Some torches. Set these here. Alright. So we're gonna pump down the system. I'm gonna close this all the way down. So you got your suction line, then your discharge or your liquid. So your suction's gonna be taking the refrigerant back, throwing it out to the evap. So you wanna close this off. Oh dude, nice. Okay, this one you don't wanna close down all the way. So you want to get it close enough, so that way when it comes time to actually crank this thing down, you don't have enough, you have less threads to crank down on. Okay, let me open up this. I want to push in the contactor just to get this compressor to pump down. So I'm gonna push this in. As I push it in, I'm gonna look at the pressures. Once I see the pressures start to decline, I'm gonna go ahead and start cranking down on this all to close it shut. And then that's how you do the pump down. Okay, there wasn't very much in there at all. I took both schraders out because when I go to solder, I don't want to burn the rubber that's in the schrader. So this, I'm just gonna wipe this down, get my torches, put some more solder on it, and it should be good to go. You're just gonna heat it up enough to where you start to see it melt. Be very careful with all the surrounding areas around the system. And once you start to see it turn silver like that, you're gonna toss some more silver solder on top. I think that's gonna do it right there. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna put some more on top. And get the bottom. I want to make sure. And we're just gonna go ahead, inspect it with our mirror. So it looks pretty, looks sealed pretty good. Make sure you inspect all the way around. You don't want to miss nothing. I think we should be good. That should be it. All right, I'm probably just gonna skip nitro and just add the vacuum into it because I trust myself enough to trust the seal on the solder. So let me go grab my vacuum. I got my vacuum hooked up. This is pretty overkill for the system that's right here because the air handler sits right on the other side of this wall. And I forgot to mention, don't forget to take the disconnect out because once you go to charge the system, it's gonna want to turn on, and you don't want that just yet because you need to charge it up. But as I was saying, this little setup I got right here is pretty overkill. I got two 3/8 hoses, or I think they're 1/2 inch, can't remember. And then I also rigged up my vacuum to take another 3/8 bit, or threaded, whatever you want to call it. And I do have the fancy gauges that everybody has. I don't use them like for vacuuming. These are strictly for for charging up systems. And it's just the 3 manifold because I didn't need the 4th hose because I knew I wasn't going to vacuum with these. So I have my micron gauge hooked up to the liquid line. It should be the highest point, should be attached to the highest point of the system, so it's at the very top. And then obviously my suction line is hooked up to the vacuum as well, and both schraders are out and it's just open. So this vacuum is going to take maybe 30 seconds compared to if you were to use a manifold, it would probably take you an hour to 2 hours. It would be instantaneous. Open the valve. You should start seeing it pull down. And it's already starting to vacuum. There it is. My gauge manifold would have took 30 minutes just to get that. This is unedited right here. This part I'm not gonna skip. I always show my coworkers this setup, and as soon as I put the thing in the vacuum, they're like, "Holy crap!" I even put this setup on an IntelliPack system on a compressor, and yeah, it still takes a long time on an IntelliPack because they're much bigger, but it took about an hour for the vacuum. Alright, 411. Alright, 410, it should be good enough. So, yep, dropping even further. So we're going to close these valves. This setup cost me about 400, 2 hoses, the 2 valve core removers, and with the micron gauge. Micron gauge was obviously separate, but that's pretty much it. So I can turn this off and remove this quickly. I don't want to let too much atmosphere in there. And then you're just going to open this back up slowly. Let it flow, let it flow. Okay, now that that's open, we're going to open this all the way. Okay, I have the Schrader back on there. Let's put that back in there. Can open it. And then this is the hard part with one hand, especially with one hand. I need 2 hands for this, but you're just gonna screw this all the way in until it stops. Got it in there. And now I can take this off. Boom. What I like to do after I put those in, I don't really dress these a whole lot. I like to just go back in there and not too much, but just a little snug, just in case it doesn't, the refrigerant doesn't come out. And we can open up this one again. Should be good now. Open this one up all the way. All right, it's good enough. So I just put this Schrader back in. I went in with my screwdriver, tightened it, and it's actually leaking a little bit, so we're gonna replace that Schrader with a new one. Got the old Schrader out and the new Schrader in. Here's the old one. You can barely see it. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead, clean up my mess, and then we're gonna get the gauges hooked up, and we're gonna top off the system back to spec and get it going. Okay, got my area cleaned up. I just have what I actually need. Got my gauges hooked up with the recovery tank, the 410A tank. I turned the system into cool. I do see the contactors pulled in right there. So we're gonna see how much we need to add into the system. The system calls for 5 pounds, 11 ounces, and it is 410. So I did confirm with the data tag. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this up. See what it means. So yeah, we're pretty low. So, we need a purge too. Yep, that's what I like to see. And since the system's on, we're gonna charge through the suction. And this thing right here, I need a new scale, but you can only see this at an angle. You can't see it like this. Or if you turn on the light, you can see it. So we're gonna add, I'm gonna say 2 pounds for right now. We're gonna stop it at 2 pounds. We're almost to 2 pounds. Let's see, let me stop it real quick. I've already added about 4 pounds. We're gonna let that settle. We're gonna wait until the superheat stuff changes a little bit. That way I can determine if I need to add more or if it's good. So I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes to adjust. Okay, I've been letting it sit for 5 minutes. We're still at 4 pounds. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. It's not really that hot out today. I think it's 70 degrees, 65 degrees. But it feels a little cooler just because there's no sun out. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. Just to get that sub going up to about 2 or 3. And then that way, maybe in the future, later next week or so, I can come back out and adjust the pressures if I need to. We'll probably stop this around close to 5 or at 5. This is my view here. Some hills. It's very peaceful out here. It's so quiet. No cars. Yeah, I think that'll do it right there. We'll stop it there. I think that should adjust. We're almost topped off to what the data plate says it needs to be. It was 5 pounds 11 ounces. We're almost there. But I think this is a good stopping point just with the temperature that we're sitting at outside, and it'll adjust over time too. By the time I end up leaving out of here, it'll probably have changed, but I'm pretty happy with these right now. I definitely have to come back out on a warmer day when the sun's out beating on this thing. But yeah, I don't want to add any more than that, because then my superheat will start to drop even more. So I'm gonna just leave it like that and close this off. Close that. And we're gonna take off the red. These are low loss hoses, by the way, so they're not gonna spray back at you like a regular hose would. And there's still a lot of pressure in this. There's 250 psi in this, so since I got it disconnected, now we can open up this side. We're gonna take all that's in that hose and transfer it into the suction side. And once they equal out, that way I know there's no more high pressure in that hose. It's a good little trick. That way, whenever you're bleeding out, purging your hoses at the end of your job, you don't have a lot of refrigerant just going everywhere. And then I'm just gonna clean up, talk to the customer. I'm also gonna get a split temp with this, and then I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in the 50s, but I just wanna add that to my notes, you know. So yeah, let's see here. Just one of the vents. This one's closed. Let me just get the temperature coming out. I think we're good to go. We're at 54. So yeah, she's cooling. That was a pretty easy fix. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. It's pretty simple. It didn't take no more than 3 hours. It was probably less than even 2 hours, hour and a half maybe. But yeah, so I think this might be a shorter video today. I'll just see if they got another service call for me. If not, until the next service call. Peace.